but singafika kuyo nje let's go through the scores amagame ayitolo lang for. I remember the first game was Morocco versus Croatia. It was a goalless draw. One of my colleagues lamsebentini went at it better online. Uthi khanza lose imali leningi ngoba phela uthi at least one goal, but it was a goalless draw, so it's set for him.
Yeah, so moving on to the next game, sidakumbuka ukuthi nayitolo kwenze kwadlala Germany ne-Japan. Japan iwine 2 goals against Germany, le wine 1. I saw a lot of people bakhala kakhulu ku social media ukuthi how kanjani Germany engaluza ku Japan. The World Cup lena is just showing us flames.
Mina bengiya ke lapho ngoba ngiyo le game lena le khombisile ukuthi it's not just Argentina. This is World Cup. It's the biggest stage. Anything can happen. But again, Lulu, it doesn't really define anything. Ngoba utawukhumbula 2010 when Spain won the World Cup, they lost their first game. So, you know, it's a bad start, but they can still do better as amagame aqhubeka. The third game was Spain versus Costa Rica. It was the topic of the day, itolo, and I believe nalamhla kutabe nje kukhulunywa ngayo usuku lonke. 7 goals la Spain against Costa Rica.
And I didn't watch that game. Nangibuka nyalo bengicanga mhlambe ma penalties.
Oh no,
it's
no.
just magoli nje.
No, first goal was at exactly 11 minutes. Second goal was at 21 minutes. Third goal 54 minutes. 31 minutes. Then the next one 54 minutes. That was the fourth goal, Lungelele. 74th minute they scored their 5th goal. 90 minutes bakora goal 6. Game say pelile. I got edwa 2 minutes bafaka le cards. 7.
All right. The last game ledlaliwe itolo Group F was Belgium against Canada, of which Belgium winile 1-0 yesterday. So yeah, imatima kakhulu World Cup isifiso.
Yeah, and Belgium was everyone's favorite. I think everyone knew ukuthi Belgium itawina nje bekubantu base Canada kuphela lebe bafavor Canada. The reason why is njengoba sivedile itolo ukuthi it's Canada's first appearance in 20 years. So expecting a win was a bit over ambitious, but nonetheless they did well. No buka ukuthi kudliwa 1-0 first appearance in 20 years. Kasho ukuthi they were prepared.
Yeah, all right. Ngazike kubuka le dot hamba embili nje kulamanye amave sitaqala khona even la South Africa. South Africans can now for the first time test themselves for COVID-19 at home without visiting a doctor, a clinic or a testing site. An importer has secured approval for a home antigen test that will cost as little as 50 rands per test. Kanti le test lena bathi iyatfolakala immediately. Antigen tests are not gold standard for COVID-19 testing and work best in people showing symptoms. For nearly 2 years, people worldwide have used them as a layer of detection and protection, often before social occasions like end-of-year gatherings. And still on South Africa, in less than 3 weeks, sekubika ukuthi sekunalenye ithodla leneminyaka munye nekubika ukuthi nayo ilunywe iyashona iPitbull on Wednesday. The incident is said to happen in Cambridge khona eNingizimu Africa. Bekana 1 year ke kepha ke litiko letempilo khona eStern Cape lisaphenya ukuthi ingabe kwentekeni kahle kahle bathi ke batasingetha ama updates very soon.
Inzaba ma pitbulls Lungelele is very serious in South Africa. Ngoba nyalo nje bakhulumisa inzaba ukuthi pitbulls should be banned from being domesticated. I just want to hear your opinion, Lulu, on that. Ngoba kunalabantu labathanda tinja who are advocating against that.
I think they should look into it, saying this is the 3rd case of a toddler being mauled by a pit bull. Because you know these dogs, they should not be domesticated. But they are arguing because
Injury trainer. I've had dogs all my life, and even outside of pit bulls, a dog can be vicious. A simple example is no kulisa nje in seclusion iba nelilaga na ingabadi bantu ingabadayeli bantu, so kufanele ukuthi uyitayete nje bantu isesengumdlwane ikhula lapho iba domesticated kahle. But anyway, we'll see as the story develops in South Africa. Moving on to Ukraine and Russia, the war that's continuing. Zelensky has denounced Russian terror in United Nations address. He has accused Russia of crimes against humanity after a new missile barrage caused blackouts across Ukraine. Now, Zelensky told the United Nations Security Council via video link that the Russian formula of terror had forced millions of people to stay without energy supplies, without heating, without water, in sub-zero cold. The strikes killed at least 7 people, Ukraine said. Nuclear power plants went offline. The 3 plants still under Ukrainian control were disconnected from the grid, including Europe's largest, which was forced again to rely on diesel generators to power its cooling systems and key safety equipment. Now, the United States ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said Russian President Vladimir Putin was weaponizing winter to inflict immense suffering. She says this is cowardly and inhumane. Such said news kubona nje lento leqhubeka Ukraine ne Russia iqhubeka yathi uyadibuta ukuthi with so many interventions from the United Nations, from the European Union.
Russia is still not backing down.
Russia is still not backing down, and you know the loss of innocent lives for me is more than anything ngikolobuhlungu kakhulu.
Yeah. And imbukele sithathe buketa kabanti leto lethamba impili kulamanye emave lomhla ehlelweni kanti namuhla sabe sikhulumisana na president of Eswatini pageant dokumela ukuthi this weekend on Saturday kudabe ku crown Miss Eswatini 2022 dokumela ukuthi besolo side ke Miss Eswatini for at least 2 years and itheme yalonyaka ibitwa ngokuthi beacon of hope, and it has confirmed to have seen the largest number of entries since the very first time the competition was held in 1975. Sabe sikhulumisana na Catherine Potgieter kuva kabantu ukuthi ngabe vele mhlambe i-hype ngawo lo msebenzi kodwa banja this weekend uhamba kanjani. We are hoping to have our winner on Monday, our Miss Eswatini 2022. So sabe sikhulumisana na Catherine kuva kabantu ukuthi umsebenzi uhamba kanjani ntshisekelo enganani nje ya Miss Eswatini 2022. Sabe sikhulumisana naye lo mhla ekseni nga 7:30 ngale kwaloko nyalo. Let's take a break nasibuya sithatha indaba tethu de kuqala.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Asimze senivusele sikumukele nawe lo sanza kuzivulela sidabuka indaba tethu ekucala. Izinyane lembube umfana Nkosi isicalo leli sibonza nemsunguli wenhlangano yesicalo foundation livule ngalokusemthethweni tindlu letimbili tabogogo lababili ekhaya la kaMsibi enzaweni yasenkilichi ngaphansi kwenkundla yasekukhanyeni. Gogo Ethel Msibi na gogo Neli Msibi bebahlala etindlini letenzala lebedi babeka ebungotini kanti umfana Nkosi lebeka singethwe ngumfana Nkosi Mavela uvulele tindlu waphinze wabafakela imibhede lemishana lokunye.
Umfana Nkosi uqale wabuka simo sendlu lenzala lebekahlala kiyo gogo Ethel Msibi loneminyaka lenga-76 kanti ngemva kwalokho ubese sowuvula indlu yakhe lensha. Umfana Nkosi uvule nendlu yagogo Neli Msibi yena loneminyaka lenga-75 lena ebekahlala endlini lebese ingagcine seyibanga nengoti. Kwakhiwa kwaletindlu letimbili kubite imali lengamalangeni latinkulungwane letingama-300. Lo msebenzi walenhlangano liyasungulwa ngumfana Nkosi isicalo uyaqhubeka nokuthi wanze even leSwatini njengoba lenyaka isebenzisa imali lengamalangeni latigidzi letintsathu elihlelweni lwayo lokunakekela abogogo labomkhulu nesivile esikhubadekile ngokuthi baphe kudla even lonke. Umsebenzi wekuvula letindlu uhambisane nekuthi bantfu benkosi baphe bogogo nabomkhulu bendzawo laba belikhulu ne-70 kudla kanye ke netingubo. Umvanenkosi uthi kwakhiwa kwaletindlu kufeza umgomo walenhlangano lokusicalo foundation wekuhlangabetana netidzingo tesive ngekuphuthuma.
Sitawuphindze siqhubeke siyosita labanye embili ngekuhlukahlukana bekunene nalapho labadzingile ukuthi nabo babe netindzawo la khona batawukhona kufihla kahle inhloko kungabi ngiloku ufihla inhloko kuphela kepha nje naloku yethunjini ngoba phela naku vele sesiya kubo bokhisimusi sekuyojatshulwa nani bekunene singanishiye mangaphandle ukuthi awu asithi sidla lokho sikudla kona singanani beningudla ngalapha bekunene. Sibonga bekunene ukuthi sistema sisaqhubeka basibambisa nalaba basibambisako kona ekwakheni ntona letindlu babe khona nalabanye labathi cha ifoundation ngeke bayibukele iqhubeke nje ihambe yodwana ufuna ukuthi umlo omdzalana kangena phela endlini kube khona lokho lata lesitamngenisa nako nathi ungabi ukuthi awu somniketile nje indlu sota yintani indlu ngoba phela kwamele nokuthi lendlu abe nekwekulala lokugahlela ngekhathi nakhona tawubeka khona tindlu takhe kahle ngekhathi endlini ukuthi na cha nako bekunene sibalethele bathi khona kukusebenzisa.
Gogo Ethel Msibi ubonge inkhosikati Makela Mathebula ngekukhulisa umvanenkosi ngendlela lemende waguquka waba sibusiso lesikhulu even lonke.
Ngithiwe inkosi yami la kwende kithi angadzinwa nakulabanye adinge aqhubeke akwende. Ngibonge nakumake Mathebula makwakhe. Cha ngiyabonga inkosi yami. Obabe kukhoma Mathebula besitamthola phi lo doda engena tasende.
Lo mcimbi bewungenelwe nasikhulu sasenkiliji umvanenkosi Mkhombi lokuthi sento semvanenkosi sitawufakela insha umdlandla wokwakhela abantu labadzala.
Siyethemba ukuthi lemiti njoba kubonakala nje ukuthi sengiyo lemihle kwendlula leminye itawunika nebantwana labanye ukuthi amane bakope babakhele bantu abadzala laba batalako noma sengigogo watala uyihlo kuyadzinga lokuthi umbone kuthi naye alale endlini.
Indvuna itiko letetinkhundla lephindze ibe lilunga layo inhlangano Sicalo Foundation ichaze ngesimo sato tindlu lebebahlala kito bogogo Msibi bangakakhelwa letinsha leto ke lesiyabafake kito umvanenkosi.
Sathi inkosi bengibuka lamavidiyo nkosi. Bothi mawubuka lamavidiyo uthi eish ngiyadla ingabe labantu umvanenkosi lasithumabona enkilichi banjani.
Lilunga lephalamende lenkhundla yasekukhanyeni Malavi Sihlongonyane libonge kakhulu umvanenkosi lakutsatha sive kutsi sibumbane kude kuthi lenkhundla yasekukhanyeni ithole intuthuko lekhosako. Ladise sive sasekukhanyeni kuthi emalungiselelo ekufaka litiyela emgwaqweni losuka elugaganeni uhlanganise indzawo yaseluve sekasecophelelweni leliphakeme. Lobika kwethu indzabeni ngisandile Makhanya enkiliji.
Mvunankulu Cleopas Dlamini usukile kuleli walibhekisa eveni leNiger kuyomelela silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu emhlanganweni wetekhicida wenhlangano yebunye bemave e-Afrika. Mvunankulu usuke esikhumulweni setindiza eKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport.
Umhlonishwa Mvunankulu Cleopas Dlamini ngalesithathu usukile kuleli walibhekisa eveni leNiger lapho umelela khona ingwenyama inkosi Mswati wesithathu emhlanganweni wemhlangano yebunye bemave e-Afrika i-African Union umhlangano lotawubuka tona tindzaba tekuthuthukisa tekhicida elivekatini le-Afrika i-African Union Industrialization Summit. Lo mhlangano utawubanjwa ngaphansi kwesicubulo lesithi kutibophelela kwemave yaselivekatini le-Afrika kude kukhicida lokungabandlululi nalokukhosako kanye nekufukulwa kwemnotfo ngetindlela letahlukene. Umhlonishwa Mvunankulu ngaphambi kwekuthi ahambe lapha eveni akhuluma nabo betindzaba esikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport uvetile ukuthi kulomhlangano baholi bemave batawuphindze babuke tindlela tekuthuthukisa sona sivumelwano sekuthengiselana saleli vekati leside tincabekelwano i-African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
Umhlangano lona ke baholi bayobuka ukuthi live lase Africa lona lingenda njani ukuthi nalo lidlondlobale kutema business njengoba uyobona nawufika emaveni lamanye lengesheya usukhanze amafamily amakhulu so ke baholi bayobonisana ngaloko nje ukuthi industrialization ukwakha emabhizinisi lamakhulu kungendeka kanjani kungasupporteka kanjani eAfrica. Lokunye ke mavela atafika kubuke kulomhlangano ukuthi bantu nje tisebenzi dingendiwa njani ukuze kube tikhiphe umkhicito losetulu sokuthi kuba capacitated ukuthi tifundzise titrain ukusebenzisa imishini kusebenzisa tabongqondongqondo ngoba kwala kulamalanga nje sekusetshenziswa leto tinto leto kusukhicitwe. Baholi ke babukile ukuthi kumbe kuze kube khona lo driver kolento la emkhathini wabo ufuna babe khona lebatam khetha nje ukuthi i-champion on industrialization kusho ukuthi nguye lo tawuphusha le industrialization la eAfrica. Lokunye lokutawubukwa nginaku lokuthiwa i-African Free Trade Area kusho ukuthi lokusho ukuthi emave ase-Africa uma thengiselana nje nasithengisa into thine noma eZimbabwe noma baseMozambique nabathengisela kube yetele mihibe lopho uthola ukuthi uyayikhanza emagedeni.
Baholi kulomhlangano batawuphindze babukisane ukuthi tekuthengiselana kuleli vekati batithuthukisa kanjani kulandzela ukuthi tekuthengiselana nawe emabhizinisi ashake kakhulu ngaso sikhathi semkhuhlane i-COVID-19. Lo mhlangano kuphindze ubanjwe ngaphansi kwaleminye imisebenzi yekugubha lona langa lekukhicita elivekatini le-Africa i-Africa Industrialization Day lebanjwe ngato mhla tingemashumi kule nyanga lesetulu. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika samkeliswe khoza nginasikhumbuzo Dlamini seKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport.
Akulokunye indvunankulu bekhutela udlame lulibonakala lwanza eveni kulandzela ukuthi kube khona tigangi letihlasela likhaya lelijaji lelikhulu Bheki Maphalala kusakwa ngalesibili.
Silivela kwangwane sishwaciseke kakhulu ngesento lesendekile emalangeni lawa lesuka ngathi kuthandi lapha usibone khona kunelidlame lelikhulu kushiswa khona umuntu welijaji lijaji lelikhulu la Kangwane Chief Justice Maphalala le embelebeleni eshiselweni sivuke kuseni ngalelo kwayitolo kwawo savuka vele ngalo umbiko ukuthi kunedidlamlilo letende umonakalo lomkhulu dashisa tindlu dabulala netinkomo uhulumende uyakuceka kakhulu lesento leso futhi uyafunga uyagomela ukuthi labo labenele isento leso bataluthola lolumali siyabalilela ke kakhulu baka Maphalala ngaloku bavelele siyathemba ukuthi batawuhlanganisa lokwa nalokwa kepha nje sivele uhulumende ukukhuta kakhulu ukuthi kubi abantu sebalahlekelwe ubuntu empilweni tabo sekulukhuni kakhulu ukuthi ungathi kusesento sebuntu yini lobu ngoba sekukhona nje kwethusana kakhulu kukhona ukuthi kubulawe abantu ngetindlela letingekho kukhona ukuthi kushiswe takhiwo kukhona ukuthi kube nje nekulopha nje abantu armed robbery lapha kungekezwa khona thathwe imali so yabona ukuthi lolu dlame luyembili esikhundleni sesuluye emuva nawuthi uyabuka ukuthi lolu dlame ngabe loconze ini uyabona ukuthi leti dlamlilo leti tetama ukuthi kube khona kwethusa abantu la even abantu nje bahlale basesimeni sekuthi ungasadi ukuthi nguphi basi noma ngabagangile noma ngawubonile sikugangiwe wesabe nawe nekusho ukuthi kukhona lokubonile kwendelwani ke lokho kwendelwa ukuthi nangabe sokuthi sekukhona lokufanele ukukhulunywe bese wonke umuntu uyathula sekusuka ke lokwento wangilaba shokuthi vele ngikolokusendleleni.
Iphinila Ndvanankulu Themba Masuku selemukele emasaka e-rice langemathani langemakhulu amathathu 300 lanikelwe nguhulumende welive le-Taiwan. Lesipho sethulwe ngulonxuse lelive le-Taiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang Matapa.
Hulumende welive le-Taiwan solo uyachubeka nekubambisa live lase-Eswatini etinhlangothini letinyenti tentfutfuko kufaka ekhatsi tempilo, tekulima netenhlalakahle kuletinye, njengoba ngalesithatfu live le-Taiwan letfule ema-rice langemathani langemakhulu lamathathu 300 tons labita imali letigidzi letisitfupha temalangeni 6 million lawetfule ehhovisini leliphindlamfunankulu. Akhuluma ngesikhathi etfula lesipho lonxuse lelive le-Taiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang uthi lena indlela ekubambisa live lase-Eswatini ekucedzeni indlala.
The government and the people of Taiwan trusted that this donation will make a significant differences in the lives of those who are in need of a helping hand. This is also true depiction of the efforts by His Majesty's government to improve food security and the livelihood of Eswatini.
Liphindlamvunankulu Themba Masuku selemukela lesipho lona lithi lokudla kutawusita eMaswati kakhulukazi lawo lasele kakhulu kuphunga simo sendlala.
Lokudla labasipha kona kutawusita abantu kutawuthola abantu laba 33,000 ngetulu nje kwa 33,300 ngilabo bantu ke labaswele kakhulu lesati ukuthi badzinga kudla ngoba lesimo lesikhona si fosa ukuthi kube nebantu lesiba sitako singihulumende kuze ke bakhona kusitakana labo.
Budlelwano balamave lamabili sebuneminyaka lengama-54 kanti lokudla kutawuzuzwa ngeMaswati latinkulungwane tingemashumi-3. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika samkeliswe khoza ngamuzi mkhonta kumathapha.
Babalanelo mkhulu etiko letempilo Dr. Simon Zwane uthi inhlangano yaka-PSI idlale inzima lenkulu ekufezeni imigomo yabo 95 labathathu necinisekisa ukuthi isive sithatha amaphilisi e-HIV nekutihlola leli gciwane. Dr. Zwane bekamelelwe nguMichelle Adler nakwethulwa umphumela waka-PSI leku-SCORE project lesaqala ngeminyaka wa-2017.
Lenhlangano ithule ukusebenta kwayo kusuka ngenyanga yemphala ngeminyaka wa-2017 lapho tinkhomba tikhombe ukuthi isebente kahle impela. Lobekamelele emabhanelo omkhulu etiko letempilo Dr. Simon Zwane kulomsebenzi bekungithoko Nkubane lothite inhlangano yaka-PSI idlala inzima lenkulu kule minyaka lesihlanu isachuba tinhlelo etahlukahlukene kuleli.
Imimango yethu yonke ilitholile lomsido ikakhulu lapho beyisebenzela khona le SCORE project elubombona kamanzini.
Michelle Adler ngumcondzisi we-CDC uthe basachuba loluhlelo kunenge labakufundzile emimangweni lehlukene kuleli.
These clinics serve over 2,000 people living with HIV and have successfully circumcised over 9,000 men and screened over 1,000 women for cervical cancer.
Siphiwe Dlamini nalindo kuhle mathebula bamvu labasha lebasitekele ngetinhlelo taka-PSI lebethule bufakazi.
Sayingenela safunza ukuthi ibhizinisi ichuba kanjani sesekhathi nekufunda lokho basendela ibusiness challenge baka-PSI.
Kuthi ngenyanga yenyoni kulomnyaka losetulu bebati inkulungwane letimbili nemakhulu lamane lebe banatha emaphilisi kule mtholampilo yaka New Start nemtholampilo wakalithemba lethu lekuyimtholampilo yayoke lenhlangano etindzabeni ngengiyani Msibeki Nasimuva Shongwe eMountain View yeMbabane.
Uhlangothi lwetempilo lelibuke kucedza sifo sesifuba sengati i-TB control program seyiceceshe belaphi bemtsabu ngetingoni letahlukene talesifo. Umphathi waloluhlangothi Themba Dlamini uthi lenangu lenye yemetamo yekuncoba lesifo lapha eveni.
Luhlangothi lolubuke kulwa nekwanza kwesifo sesifuba sengati lapha eveni i-Eswatini TB control program seliceceshe balaphi bemtsabu kude bakhone kubona sive seMaswati lesitawufuna lusito lwetempilo kubo labakhombisa timpawu tesifo sesifuba sengati. Umphathi walelibandla Themba Dlamini uthi lena ngileminye yemitamo yelive yekunciphisa kwanza kwalesifo.
Nesabona ukuthi bantu laba provide tempilo njalo tinyanga nabo bagcina sebagula ngalokho baswelelo lwati ukuthi bangavikela njani lesifo basalapha letigulane. Kuliqiniso ke lokuthi vele abantu abanengi bayaqala khona etinyangeni bawufuna isito, tinyanga tidudane nabo bahlala nato futhi bayadethemba. Kodwa ke sina sisasibambisane bativikele bona baphinde bavikele letigulane ukuthi tingayitholi TB.
Mengameli wenhlangano balaphi bemdzabo Makhanya yena wethembisile ukuthi batawulibambisa live ekuncobeni lesifo.
Namhlanje usikhumbule umuntu ukuthi ke bangafi bantu 2030 kufuna TB iphele. Njengoba bathi thina batayibona TB ngende kuphela ku 2028.
Ngikusho kwembiko waloluhlangothi lesifo sihamba nemiphefumulo eMaswati njalo ngeminyaka lelinganiselwa eshumini nesiphohlongo ekhulwini 18% kulabo labatfolakala nesifo labathi 2,000 njalo ngeminyaka. Edinzabente Eswatini TV kubika samkeliswe khoza ngasikhumbuzo Dlamini kuMathapha.
Inhlangano lebuke emalungelo ebantfwana i-UNICEF ithi bantfwana ikakhulukati labangamantombazana kumele bavikeleke ngayo yonke indlela kunoma ngabe nguluphi ihlobo lokuhlukubeteka ngoba sibonakala sikhula njalo sibalo semantombazana lahlukubeteka ngekwelichansi. Inhlangano yaka-UNICEF nelohhovisi leliphindanvunankhulu naletinye inhlangothi bakhulumise kabanti indzaba yokuvikela abantfwana ekuhlukubeteni lekuyi-sexual protection of children.
It's very important for us to see how we can better protect the most vulnerable population group, particularly like children. And in line with the mandate of UNICEF that we also want to support the country to develop to be a more resilient, more child-sensitive like social protection system in Eswatini. The first objective is that we want to take this chance to more equip with our relevant stakeholders working in social protections for the knowledges and skills related in these areas.
Lisekela lemcondzisi wabo sonhlalakahle ehhovisini leliphindanvunankhulu Marcelia Neves lithi emantombazana ayadzinga kuvikelwa ngoba ayahlukubeteka ngakho-ke lo mhlangano ubaluleke kakhulu kuboke balohhovisi.
Asitoshiyelana lugwayi ngokubukisana nekusherisha i-information ngokuthi gaps lesiwabonako nasisasebenza sichuba umsebenzi wekusita abamphana naso sive kuleli hlangothi le-social protection sihlangabetana kanjani ngoba siyatiwa ukuthi uhulumende kuneqhaza lalidlalako.
Ngengxenye yesibili yeminyaka lophelile tinyukile impela tinombolo talabahlukubeteko ikakhulukazi amantombazana kwanyuka nesibalo sekulahlwa kwabantwana nekuyekela-ke emsebentini ama-layoffs ngenxa ye-COVID-19 kuvule lithuba lokuthi bahlukubeteke basifazane. Edinzabeni ngengiyane emsebenzini nasimuva shongwe esibayeni lodge kuMathapha.
Kwezemidlalo, umphathi wenhlangano yemidlalo ema-Olympics kanye naleyo yama-Commonwealth Maxwell Chelo uthi le nhlangano sayisebenzise imali lelinganiselwa ku-800,000 emalangeni ekumikiseni itingijimi takuleli eveni laseMalawi ukuthi lingenele imidlalo yema-Region 5 yalonyaka letawubanjelwa eLilongwe. Chelo uthi leli cembu kubheke ukuthi lisuke kuleli kulemphalasontfo.
Sicale-ke sabuketa ema-athletes le abekhona kulomnyaka lophelile eMaseru la sithithe khona sitofuna ema-athletes la medala eMaseru noma la khona kufika ku-podium. Sesiyedlulela-ke nalakhona lapho sibuketa tinombolo lokuthi mhlawumbe kukhona labanye labawatholile ema-medals kuma-regional competitions labekhona. So leli bandla ke leli kubuketako lokho leli buketako nale team lahlangana nje mahlandla lamanyentana lisebenta yona lendzaba la khona egcineni kwagcina kufike la sesikhona khona nyalo i-team iyabusiswa ngeyo i-board yaka
Mengameli wenhlangano yemidlalo yogaluva lapha eveni Albert Mhlanga uthi lenhlangano ayikabi neminyaka lomuhle etindzabeni tekudlalisa imidlalo kanye nekungenela imicuzelwano leyahlukahlukene yangaphandle. Mhlanga uthi kulikhuni kusho ukuthi lenhlangano kukhona leyikuzuzile kulomnyaka njengoba bekude imicuzelwano lekhonile kuyidlalisa.
Vele ngaba kanjalo vele akahambi kahle ngoba nje asikakwati nokumela nje kungenela ama-tournaments e-Africa futhi engasingene kuwo ngobe lama competitions ema opens especially ngona la ngona asinika kusi i-platform yokuthi sikwathi ku-rate ama-players manje in the absence yalama tournaments vele kubede ukuthi singabakhetha njani badlali laba ngibona bakhalipha ngoba siwakhetha ngalama open tournaments so that's why nje lo mnyaka vela in terms of that akahambi kahle ukuthi nje ama-clubs nje for instance osolo nje adrangishela ama-competitions awo lengathi nje bokumeka kakhulu nje nangilama tournaments labe asanction kakhulu i-union akahambi kahle lo mnyaka ngelokho sokuphela njena ngathi njena encenye vele kutabade ma-official tournaments e-union ata ukuqala kahle ngale January kodwa futhi nje le committee lekhethiwe nje satawuhlala phasi into i-program litaqala kahle ngaJanuary.
Sathiphetha ngale dodo emidlalo sithatha selikhefu sibuye sichubeke nehlelo.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3# and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. Sibonge chubeka kuhlala nathi ehlelweni lesikhasenyelo sitabuka tindzaba tethu lechamuka ngephandle kwakuleli. Kuthiwa ke kushone bantfu labasithupha eveni lasemelika esitolo lokuthiwa iWalmart lapho khona kube ne-attack ye-shooting khona. Kwenteke lokhu ke nakusukuma liviki lesikulo in the state of Virginia. Emaphoyisa athi ke lona lokusolakala ukuthi udubulela abantu labasithupha kwana naye ubese uyashiya emhlabeni. This mass shooting in the city of Chesapeake comes just before Americans celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday and follows a weekend gun attack at a club in Colorado that left 5 people dead.
Police search for clues inside this large Walmart store in Chesapeake, Virginia, after a gunman killed several people.
We're at 10:12 p.m. Tuesday evening. We responded here to the Walmart on, Sam's Drive for a report of a shooting. We located multiple fatalities and multiple injured persons. We believe it's a single shooter, and that single shooter is deceased at this time.
Witness accounts in local media reports suggest the shooter turned the gun on himself after his killing spree inside a staff break room. His motives are unknown, but it is believed the suspect was an employee at the store. Police spent hours combing through the complex, trying to find evidence, but also possible survivors hiding from the attack. In a tweet, Walmart said they were shocked at the tragic event, adding that the company was working closely with law enforcement and was focused on supporting its associates. The gruesome event comes just before Thanksgiving, one of the busiest periods for the retail giant. Lawmakers in Virginia have voiced shock and anger at the latest gun violence taking place in their state, while one Twitter user summed up the cycle of mass shootings in America in a grim diagram. The killings came just a few days after another deadly shooting at a gay nightclub in Colorado on Saturday. The suspect of that attack, a 22-year-old man, has been arrested and is facing multiple murder and hate crime charges.
Lebanon struggles to contain cholera outbreak. Lebanon detected their first cases of cholera in 30 years. The highly contagious disease has since spread, and officials in the cash-strapped country fear there is a high risk of it becoming endemic.
The north has for a long time been one of the most impoverished areas of Lebanon. It is now the center of the country's first cholera outbreak in 30 years. This field clinic in the town of Bebnin has been receiving a steady flow of patients since the first case of the waterborne disease was detected in early October.
The sewage system in the area doesn't work, so there is cross-contamination in the network. There is fecal contamination between the sewage system and the water network.
Lebanon's water and sanitation infrastructure, already poorly maintained, has been devastated by the economic freefall that has gripped the country over the last 3 years.
Because of the interconnectedness of the electricity and water crisis, it also means that many of the wastewater treatment plants in the country are not working.
Rising poverty means that many residents cannot afford to buy bottled water. Officials believe that this spring is the source of the outbreak in Lebanon. It is still being used to irrigate crops by farmers who have no other choice. Although a quick response by local officials and aid organizations has led to a reduction in case numbers in Bebnin, the underlying systemic failure, which allows a disease like cholera to take hold, is only getting worse.
If they continue to drink from the same source, our work amounts to nothing. It's going back to the 0 point.
Aid organizations are warning that the stakes are high in the fight to control this disease.
There is absolutely an acute risk of cholera becoming endemic in Lebanon, and that's why we're calling for urgently required reforms.
It is a sign of how far and how fast Lebanon has fallen that a country known only a few years ago for relatively high living standards is now battling to control a disease like cholera.
You know, for a long time, we didn't have cholera in Lebanon. Usually it occurs in poor and underdeveloped countries, but in Lebanon it didn't exist.
With no signs of reforms coming from Beirut, it seems likely that Dr. Kador and his colleagues are going to be battling this disease for years to come.
Kanzke nasiya event lase-Ukraine kuthiwa Ukraine's SBU Security Service and police raided a 1,000-year-old Orthodox Christian monastery in Kyiv early on Tuesday as part of operations to counter suspected subversive activities by Russian special services, the BU said.
Heavily armed agents enter the Peshevsk Lavra, an 11th century monastery and the seat of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, or UOC. The raid is part of a probe into its suspected support for Russia. In a post on Telegram, Ukraine's security agency SBU said it was conducting counterintelligence measures against what it called subversive activities by Russia. Several other UOC sites were also raided. The criminal investigation was launched after a priest posted a video on Facebook claiming to show pro-Russian activity at the Lavra. In the clip, worshippers are heard singing a prayer which critics say glorifies Russia. One churchgoer vehemently denies the allegation.
This church has nothing to do with Russia, none at all. If they sang twisted songs, they sang about Kiev and Rus, about ancient history. It has nothing to do with Russia.
Days after the video emerged, the head of a diocese in central Ukraine was charged with preparing propaganda leaflets backing Russia's invasion. The Kremlin denounced the move, with government spokesman Dmitry Peskov accusing Ukraine of, quote, long being at war with the Russian Orthodox Church. In May, the UOC, a branch of the Orthodox Church in Ukraine, officially separated from the Russian Orthodox Church after centuries under its control, in protest at Patriarch Kirill's support for the invasion. Despite the move, suspicions remained that its clergy was secretly in league with Moscow.
British economy worst hit in G7. Britain's economy will shrink by 0.4% in 2023, more than any other in the G7 group of world's richest nations.
It's on a tray.
The Gray family is getting ready for Christmas. The children are growing more excited by the day, but Mother Hayley is struggling.
So I'm having to make sure I've got money for gas and electric. I ain't going to be able to do it. They're going to have hardly anything come Christmas.
Worries that are being felt across Britain. Living standards over the next 2 years are forecast to fall by the biggest amount since records began in 1956. Charity food banks are seeing unprecedented demand.
It used to be that those were people on the margins of society who couldn't access a kitchen, homeless people who needed that support. Now it's people in work, it's people who can't afford to turn on their cookers who are needing support.
The pain is likely to get worse, with new tax hikes and spending cuts on the way. The government blames the coronavirus and Russia.
The lasting impact on supply chains has made goods more expensive and fueled inflation, and this has been worsened by a made-in-Russia energy crisis.
Those crises are global, but Britain has unique problems, says analyst John Kampfner.
They are compounded in Britain by a series of ideologically driven governments whose competence was very much open to question, culminating in the disastrous 45 days of Liz Truss.
Former Prime Minister Liz Truss's plans to slash taxes and raise spending sent borrowing costs soaring and the pound plummeting, ultimately forcing her to resign last month. The effects are still being felt. For the first time since records began, Paris last week overtook London as Europe's biggest stock market. Analysts say Britain has other homemade problems. Britain's vote to leave the European Union brought new trade barriers. Overnight, cheesemaker Simon Spurrell lost $285,000 worth of European business. This year, he decided to sell his company to a bigger rival with access to the European market.
We no longer have access to the EU. It meant that we needed to actually try and find a solution.
It's clear that Brexit is holding back growth, says Kampfner.
It was camouflaged by the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. So the direct consequences of many of the Brexit decisions couldn't be discerned. They are now eventually, belatedly being seen.
Prime Minister Sunak this week insisted Brexit can be a success.
I voted for Brexit. I believe in Brexit. And I know that Brexit can deliver, and is already delivering, enormous benefits and opportunities for the country.
The government says economic belt tightening now will mean a shorter recession. But for millions of Britons, Christmas cheer will be muted, and the coming years will be tough.
Let's head now to the Philippines, where United States Vice President Kamala Harris visited Palawan Island in the Philippines and reaffirmed U.S. support for a UN ruling that rejected China's maritime claims in the South China Sea. Vice President Harris is in the country as a show of U.S. support for its ally amid Beijing's increasingly assertive stance in the region.
Meeting local communities in the Philippines island of Palawan, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris underscored the consequences of illegal fishing, a regional problem with China as its biggest offender. The Vice President is the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the South China Sea island, just 330 kilometers east of the disputed Spratly Islands, claimed entirely by China and partly by the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam.
As the United States has long made clear, we support the 2016 ruling of the UN Arbitral Tribunal, which delivered a unanimous and final decision firmly rejecting China's expansive South China Sea maritime claims.
China, the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam have competing territorial claims in various parts of the sea, with Beijing claiming most of it. Skirmishes have occurred. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
The upheavals that we are seeing, especially in the, not only in the region, but especially in the region, these partnerships become even more important.
Harris' visit was designed to show support for one of Washington's oldest allies in Asia. During her Monday meeting with Marcos, she said an attack on the Philippines would invoke U.S. mutual defense. China shot back.
We are not opposed to normal exchanges between the US and the Philippines, but such exchanges should not harm the interests of other countries.
As China increases military activity in the region, Washington is seeking to repair ties with Manila after fraught relations under previous President Rodrigo Duterte. Like many in the region, the current Marcos government seeks to navigate the U.S.-China rivalry by adopting the friend-to-all and enemy-to-none policy.
In many ways, this friend-to-all policy is still an exercise of an independent foreign policy. But whereas Duterte's definition was to be independent from the United States and to be dependent on China, Marcos seems to be more adept at playing this game of hedging.
Of Washington's 5 treaty allies in the Indo-Pacific, the Philippines is closest to Taiwan and therefore central to U.S. plans to deter and respond to a potential Chinese threat on the self-administered island that Beijing views as a wayward province.
It's 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. Let's cut to Sita Sasalke for us Buya Traffic Update.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Nene bekunene kusetandleni tesive kuthi imimango ingagcini kukampunzi edla emini sive sakangwane nebantu labakhethe kuhlala eSwatini abaphile ngekukhululeka nekuthi kubethe lo nyathelo lilungelo lalabanye egameni lekufuna lilungelo lakhe. Sive asikhumbule ukuthi emaphoyisa bomake nabobabe labatinikele kwenta siqiniseko ukuthi wonke umuntu lwenembahla yakhe ingacekelwa phansi ngulomunye. Wonke umuntu akahlale ngekuthula nangaphandle kokwesaba tindwe letingatiwa. Emaphoyisa ngekulandzela nekushiqilela umthetho athi into yemuntu ayibe ngeyakhe umuntu. Sive asijinge siwabambise siphinde siwasekele emaphoyisa emsebentini wawo. Kude emalungelo aso sive osomabhizinisi kanye nebantu labasebentako anganyatheleki. Khona-ke imimango itawukwakha nemakhaya akhulise bantwana ngaso sandla lesiya emlonyeni. Emaphoyisa naso sive abasebente ngebudlelwane nangekubambisana kulwa nebucala netingoti temgwaqo.
Asimze sinimukele kusele imizuzu lesikhombisa ukuthi ishaya insimbi esikhombisa lomhla ekuseni sitawubuka simo semgwaqo na Sergeant Kusile asivusele emakobani lomhla ekuseni ngabe kuhambeka kanjani emigwaqweni yelive.
Asikuvusele Thambeni sikuvusele umbukelo walolu hlelo iba netemgwaqo emadolobheni eSlamane sisebenza kahle lekulidolobha lelikhulu eMbabane Manzini lapha endawo kuMachapha kanjalo nasenhlangano. Kanti-ke lokukhona lapha etibaneni temgwaqo lethi lapha elisushwana kuMathapha usuka eSeclin ubuka yona iSalt and Pepper kuneloli lapho lenkulu levele nje kude tibane temgwaqo yenda-ke ukuthi-ke kube nekuthikametheka kokuhamba kwato-ke timotolo malayini-ke mabili na ubuka khona lapha elisushwana siyawuthi-ke sigcine munye-ke umzila sisasonzela kuleya ngcingwana leya nekuveta nje ukuthi awube kunene asibeketelelane siniketa nemathuba kuleyo nkinga leyo lekhona lapha. Kanti-ke kulonye lihlangothi asivetele ukuthi nemigwaqo even solo iyalungiswa leminye iyakhiwa lesithi nje awube kunene asichubeke phela sihloniphane sihloniphe labo labasebenza khona emgwaqweni ngekunciphisa litubane sendlule ngelitubane lelilingene ngokuthi nabo basaqhuba umsebenzi wabo babe ngilabo labaphephile la ikhathi nje edolobheni lembabane nathi yasala sisuka lapha ngaka-insurance senyukele khona kubosandla somhlolo road uvaliwe ke leyo mgwaqo loyo sibekele ke timpawu lesisebenzisako lesisiqondzisako ngemigwaqo lesiyayisebenzisa kwesikhashana kanjalo ke nemgwaqo lohamba lapha ngemuva kwakaleyisi ushaye khona eceleni kwesifunzane uyawuqhamukela lapha etulu phezu kwendlu naleyo mgwaqo loyo ke uvaliwe sisebenzisa ke nangeyomgwaqo lapha ngetulu ngabo-MBA bo-Carl Grant nabo-King Moshwesha loyasihambisa lapha eceleni kwasemona flat kanti kulunye ihlangothi asivetele ukuthi nakhona lapha edolobheni ngamanzini sivaliwe saladi sethu lesihamba e-remand center siyawuphuma khona lapha bo-satellite bus rank lesing-10 Pageant Street sivaliwe ingcingwana noma ngesikhadlana lesincane umgamu lomncane lekwenta-ke ukuthi-ke lapho labaqhamuka khona lapha bo-SADCO bayakhona-ke noma kubo-Riverstone kubuya batongenela wona-ke umgwaco long 10 Pageant Street kanjalo-ke nalapha nawuphuma ku-traffic circle uhlanganisa nayo i-interchange so ufakiwe-ke noma-ke lifakiwe-ke litiyela kuleyo nzawana leyo kepha-ke nakube lifakiwe basekhona labo labasebentako kwatise ukuthi balungisa nayo i-pavement asenike isiqiniseko bekunene ukuthi sishayela ngalokukhulu ukucophelela sisasonzela kuleyo nzawana leyo kuletinye tifundza ma-patrols nje lesolo sigcizelela kuwo ukuthi asiwanake sibashayeli sende isiqiniseko sokuthi litubane lesiyawendlula ngalo siyawuba litubane leliphansi sibili ukuze ukuthi sibe ngilabo labaphephile sifisele sona sive semaswati ilanga lelihle nanendlini emsakado sinisisile ilanga lelihle naleliphephile sachubeka nemsebenzweni siyabonga kakhulu Thombela.
Sibakhulu kwele kusiniketalo yombiko wesimo semgwaqo emhla ekseni yasatha likhefu sibuye sathatha indzaba tefu desibili.
This is PrEP, otherwise known as pre-exposure prophylaxis. PrEP is for HIV prevention. PrEP can be used by HIV-negative people to protect themselves from HIV. For more information on PrEP, visit your nearest health facility or call 2030.
I am a man in charge of my health. I use a condom every time. I have tested and I know my HIV status.
HIV prevention starts with me. In order to end AIDS, I have a right to fair treatment in access to HIV services.
Health facilities do not discriminate. Visit your nearest health facility for HIV services.
Ngekulinganisa, sinqoba i-AIDS kuwonke wonke. Equalize. Eswatini, ending AIDS for all.
Africa's biggest supermarket brings you the biggest savings event of the year. It's Black Friday at ShopRite for 4 days only. Save up to 50% on a value pack of Pampers nappies or pads for only 125 emalangeni each. Always maxi pads for just 15 emalangeni. Doom multi-insect killer for only 25 emalangeni. And Protex soap 2 for just 20 emalangeni. Don't miss 4 days of Black Friday only at ShopRite.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3 hash and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. Sibonge kuhlala nathi ehlelweni ake sesibuke indzaba tethu tesibili. Lizinyane lembube umphanenkosi sicalo lelisibonza nemsungulweni enhlangano lokusicalo foundation livule ngalokusemthethweni tindlu letimbili tabogogo lababili ekhaya lakamsibi endzaweni yasenkiliji ngaphansi kwenkhundla yasekukhanyeni. Gogo Ethel Msibi nagogo Neli Msibi bebahlala etindlini letindzala lebetibabeka ebungotini kanti ke umphanenkosi lobekasingetfwe ngumphanenkosi Mavela uvulele tindlu waphindze wabafakela imibhedze lemisha nalokunye.
Umfanenkosi uqale wabuka simo sendlu lenzala lebekahlala kiyo gogo Ethel Msibi loneminyaka lengama-76 kanti ngemva kwalokho ubese sowuvula indlu yakhe lensha. Umfanenkosi uvule nendlu yagogo Neli Msibi yena loneminyaka lengama-75 lena ebekahlala endlini lebese ingagcine seyibanga nengoti. Kwakhiwa kwaletindlu letimbili kubite imali lengemalangeni latinkulungwane letingama-300. Lo msebenzi walenhlangano liyasungulwa ngumfanenkosi sicalo uyaqhubeka nekuthi wanze even leSwatini njengoba lenyaka ayisebenzisa imali lengemalangeni latigidzi letintsathu elihlelweni lwayo lokunakekela abogogo labomkhulu nesivile esikhubadekile ngekuthi baphe kudla even lonke. Umsebenzi wekuvula letindlu uhambisane nekuthi bantfu benkosi baphe bogogo nabomkhulu bendzawo laba belikhulu-7 kudla kanye ke netingubo. Umfanenkosi uthi kwakhiwa kwaletindlu kufeza umgomo walenhlangano lokusicalo foundation wekuhlangabetana netidzingo tesive ngekuphuthuma.
Sitawuphindze siqhubeke siyosita labanye embili ngekuhlukahlukana bekunene nalapho labadzingile ukuthi nabo babe netindzawo la khona batawukhona kufihla kahle inhloko kungabi ngiloku ufihla inhloko kuphela kepha nje nalokuya ethunjini ngoba phela naku vele sesiya kubo bokhisimusi sekuyojatshulwa nani bekunene singanishiye mangaphandle ukuthi awu asithi sidla lokho sikudla kona singanani beningudla ngalapha bekunene. Sibonga bekunene ukuthi sistema sisaqhubeka basibambisa nalaba basibambisako ekwakheni tona letindlu babe khona nalabanye labathi cha ifoundation ngeke bayibukele iqhubeke nje ihambe yodwana ufuna ukuthi umuntu omdala nakangena phela endlini kube khona lokho lata lesitamngenisa nako nathi ungabi ukuthi awu somnikedile nje indlu sota yintani indlu ngoba phela kwamele nokuthi lendlu abe nekwekulala lokugahlela ngekhathi nakhona tawubeka khona tindlu takhe kahle ngekhathi endlini ukuthi na cha nako bekunene sibalethele bathi khona kukusebenzisa.
Gogo Ethel Msibi ubonge inkhosikati Makela Mathebula ngekukhulisa umfanenkosi ngendlela lemende waguquka waba sibusiso lesikhulu even lonke.
Ngithiwe inkosi yami la kwendekithi angadzinwa nakulabanye adinge aqhubeke akwende. Ngibonge nakumake Mathebula makwakhe. Cha ngiyabonga inkosi yami. Obabe kukhoma Mathebula besitamthola phi lo lodo engena tasende.
Lo mcimbi bewungenelwe nasikhulu sasenkiliji umfanenkosi Mkhumbi lokuthi sento semfanenkosi sitawufakela insha umdlandla wokwakhela abantu labadzala.
Siyethemba ukuthi lemiti njoba kubonakala nje ukuthi sengiyo lemihle kwendlula leminye itawunika nebantwana labanye ukuthi amane bakope babakhele bantu abadzala laba batalako noma sengigogo watala uyihlo kuyadzinga lokuthi umbone kuthi naye alale endlini.
Indvuna yetiko letetinkhundla lephindze ibe lilunga layo inhlangano Sicalo Foundation ichaze ngesimo sato tindlu lebebahlala kito bogogo Msibi bangakakhelwa letinsha leto-ke lesiyabafake kito umfanenkosi.
Sathi inkosi bengibuka lamavidiyo nkosi. Bothi mawubuka lamavidiyo uthi ngiyadla ingabe labantu umntwana inkosikazi Tumabona enkilithi banjani.
Lilunga lephalamende lenkundla yasekukhanyeni Malavi Sihlongonyane libonge kakhulu umfana Nkosi lakutsatha sive kutsi sibumbane kude kuthi lenkundla yasekukhanyeni ithole intuthuko lekhosako. Ladise sive sasekukhanyeni kuthi emalungiselelo ekufaka litiyela emgwaqweni losuka elugaganeni uhlanganise indzawo yaseluve sekasecophelelweni leliphakeme. Lobika kwethu indzabeni ngisandile Makhanya enkilithi.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Cleopas Dlamini usukile kuleli walibhekisa eveni leNiger kuyomelela silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu emhlanganweni wetekukhicita wenhlangano yebunye bemave e-Afrika. Ndvunankhulu usukele esikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Cleopas Dlamini ngalesithathu usukile kuleli walibhekisa eveni leNiger lapho omelela khona ingwenyama inkosi Mswati wesithathu emhlanganweni wemhlangano ebunye bemave e-Afrika i-African Union umhlangano lotawubuka tona tindzaba tekutfutfukisa tekukhicita elivekatini le-Afrika i-African Union Industrialization Summit. Lo mhlangano utawubanjwa ngaphansi kwesicubulo lesithi kutibophelela kwemave yaselivekatini le-Afrika kutekukhicita lokungabandlululi nalokukhosako kanye nekufukulwa kwemnotfo ngetindlela letahlukene. Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu ngaphambi kwekuthi ahambe lapha eveni akhuluma nabo betindzaba esikhumulweni setindiza iKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport uvetile ukuthi kulomhlangano baholi bemave batawuphindze babuke tindlela tekutfutfukisa sona sivumelwano sekutsengiselana saleli vekati leside tincabekelwano African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
Umhlangano lona ke baholi bayobuka ukuthi live lase-Afrika lona lingenda njani ukuthi nalo lidlondlobale kutemabhizinisi njengoba uyobona nawufika emaveni lamanye lengesheya usukhanze emafemi lamakhulu so ke baholi bayobonisana ngaloko nje ukuthi i-industrialization ukwakha emabhizinisi lamakhulu kungendeka kanjani kungasupporteka kanjani eAfrika. Lokunye ke emaveni atafika kubuke kulomhlangano ukuthi bantu nje tisebenzi tingendiwa njani ukuze kube tikhiphe umkhicito losetulu sokuthi kuba capacitated ukuthi tifundzise titrain ukusebenzisa imishini kusebenzisa tabongqondo ngoba kulamalanga nje sekusetshenziswa leto tinto leto kusukukhicitwe. Baholi ke babukile ukuthi kumbe kuze kube khona lo driver kolento la emkhathini wabo kufuna babe khona lebatamkhetha nje ukuthi i-champion on industrialization kusho ukuthi nguye lo tawuphusha le industrialization la e-Afrika. Lokunye lokutawubukwa nginaku lokuthiwa i-African Free Trade Area kusho ukuthi lokusho ukuthi emave ase-Afrika uma thengiselana nje nasithengisa tinto thine noma eZimbabwe noma baseMozambique nabathengisela kube yetele mihibe lobese utfola ukuthi uyayikhanza emagedeni.
Baholi kulomhlangano batawuphindze babukisane ukuthi tekuthengiselana kuleli vekati batitfutfukisa kanjani kulandzela ukuthi tekuthengiselana nawe emabhizinisi ashake kakhulu ngaso sikhathi semkhuhlane i-COVID-19. Lo mhlangano kuphindze ubanjwe ngaphansi kwaleminye imisebenzi yekugubha lona langa letekukhicita elivekatini le-Afrika i-Africa Industrialization Day lebanjwe ngato mhla tingemashumi kule nyanga lesetulu. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkelisiwe Khoza nginasikhumbuzo Dlamini seKing Mswati the 3rd International Airport.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Cleopas Dlamini sewekhutela udlame lolubonakala lwanza eveni kulandzela ukuthi kube khona tigangi letihlasela likhaya lelijaji lelikhulu uBheki Maphalala kusa kwangalesibili.
Silivela kwangwane sishwaciseke kakhulu ngesento lesendekile emalangeni lawa lesuka ngathi kuthandi lapha usibone khona kunelidlame lelikhulu kushiswa khona umuntu welijaji lijaji lelikhulu lakangwane Chief Justice Maphalala le embelebeleni eshiselweni sivuke kuseni ngalelo kwayitolo kwawo savuka vele ngalo umbiko ukuthi kunedidlamlilo letende umonakalo lomkhulu dashisa tindlu dabulala netinkomo uhulumende uyaceka kakhulu lesento leso futhi uyafunga uyagomela ukuthi labo labene lesento leso bataluthola lolumali siyabalilela ke kakhulu bakamaphalala ngaloku bavelele siyathemba ukuthi batawuhlanganisa lokwa nalokwa kepha nje sivele uhulumende ukukhuta kakhulu ukuthi kubi abantu sebalahlekelwe ubuntu empilweni tabo sekulukhuni kakhulu ukuthi ungathi kusesento sebuntu yini lobu ngoba sekukhona nje kwethusana kakhulu kukhona ukuthi kubulawe abantu ngetindlela letingekho kukhona ukuthi kushiswe takhiwo kukhona ukuthi kube nje nekulopha nje abantu armed robbery lapha kungekezwa khona thathwe imali so yabona ukuthi lolu dlame luyembili esikhundleni sesuluye emuva nawuthi uyabuka ukuthi lolu dlame ngabe luconze ini uyabona ukuthi leti dlamlilo leti tetama ukuthi kube khona kwethusa abantu la even abantu nje bahlale basesimeni sekuthi ungasadi ukuthi nguphi basi noma ngabagangile noma ngawubonile sikugangiwe wesabe nawe nekusho ukuthi kukhona lokubonile kwendelwani ke lokho kwendelwa ukuthi nangabe sokuthi sekukhona lokufanele ukukhulunywe bese wonke umuntu uyathula sekusuka ke lokwenziwa ngilaba shokuthi vele ngokusendleleni.
Liphini landvunankulu Themba Masuku selemukele emasaka erice langemathani langemakhulu lamatsatfu 300 tons lanikelwe nguhulumende welive leTaiwan. Lesipho sethulwe ngilonxusele live leTaiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang kumatsapha.
Hulumende welive leTaiwan solo uyachubeka nekubambisa live laseSwatini etinhlangothini letinyenti tentfutfuko kufaka ekhatsi tempilo tekulima netenhlala kahle kuletinye njengoba ngalesithathu live leTaiwan letfule emarice langemathani langemakhulu lamatsatfu 300 tons labita imali letigidzi letisitfupha temalangeni 6 million lawetfule ehhovisini leliphindlamfunankulu. Akhuluma ngesikhathi etfula lesipho lonxusele live leTaiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang uthi lena indlela ekubambisa live laseSwatini ekucedzeni indlala.
The government and the people of Taiwan trusted that this donation will make a significant differences in the lives of those who are in need of a helping hand. This is also true depiction of the efforts by His Majesty's government to improve food security and the livelihood of Eswatini.
Liphindlamvunankulu Themba Masuku selemukela lesipho lona lithi lokudla kutawusita eMaswati kakhulukazi lawo lasele kakhulu kuphunga simo sendlala.
Lokudla labasipha kona kutawusita abantu kutawuthola abantu laba ngu-33,000 netulu nje kwa 33,300 ngilabo bantu ke labaswele kakhulu lesatiwe ukuthi badzinga kudla ngoba lesimo lesikhona si fosa ukuthi kube nebantu lesiba sitako singihulumende kuze ke bakhona kusitakala labo.
Budlelwano balamave lamabili sebuneminyaka lengama-54 kanti lokudla kutawuzuzwa ngeMaswati latinkulungwane tingemashumi-3. Edinsabente Eswatini TV kubika samkeliswe khoza ngamuzi mkhonta kumathapha.
Mapalanelo omkhulu wetiko letempilo Dr. Simon Zwane uthi inhlangano yaka PSI idlala inzima lenkhulu yekufezeni imigomo ya 95 nekuqinisekisa ukuthi sive sithatha emaphilisi ye-HIV nekutihlola leligciwane. Dr. Zwane bekamelelwe nguMichelle Adler nakwetfulwa umphumela waka PSI leku-SCORE project lesaqala ngeminyaka wa 2017. Lomsebenzi ke bewubanjelwe ehotela lase Mountain View eMbabane ngalesithathu.
Le nhlangano yethule ukusebenza kwayo kusuka ngenyanga yemphala ngeminyaka wa-2017 lapho tinkhomba tikhombe ukuthi isebenze kahle impela. Lobekamelele emabhanelo omkhulu etiko letempilo Dr. Simon Zwane kulomsebenzi bekungithoko Ngubane lothite inhlangano yaka PSI idlala inzima lenkulu kule minyaka lesihlanu isachuba tinhlelo ezahlukahlukene kuleli.
Imimango yethu yonke ilutholile lonsido ikakhulu lapho beyisebenzela khona le score project elubombona kamanzini.
Michelle Adler ngumcondzisi we-CDC uthe basacuba loluhlelo kunenge lebakufundzile emimangweni lehlukene kuleli.
These clinics serve over 2,000 people living with HIV and have successfully circumcised over 9,000 men and screened over 1,000 women for cervical cancer.
Siphiwe Dlamini nalindo kuhle mathebula abamvu labasha lebasitekele ngetinhlelo taka-PSI lebethule bufakazi.
Sayingenela safunza ukuthi ibhizinisi uyichuba kanjani. Sesekhathini kufunza lokho basendela ibusiness challenge baka-PSI.
Kutsi ngenyanga yenyoni kulomnyaka losetulu bebati 2,400 lebe banatha emaphilisi kule mtholampilo yaka New Start nemtholampilo wakalithemba lethu lekuyimtholampilo yayoke lenhlangano. Etindzabeni ngengiyani Msibeki naSmuva Shongwe eMountain View eMbabane.
Luhlangothi lwetempilo lelibuke kucedza sifo sesifuba sengati tuberculosis control program seyiceceshe belaphi bemdzabo ngetinkoni letahlukene talesifo. Umphathi waloluhlangothi Themba Dlamini uthi lena ngulenye yemetamo yekuncoba lesifo lapha eveni.
Luhlangothi olubuke kulwa nekwanza kwesifo sesifuba sengati lapha eveni i-Eswatini TB Control Program seliceceshe balaphi bemdzabo kude bakhone kubona sive semaswati lesitofuna lusito letempilo kubo labakhombisa timpawu tesifo sesifuba sengati. Umphathi walelibandla Themba Dlamini uthi lena ngileminye yemitamo yelive yekunciphisa kwanza kwalesifo.
Nje sabona ukuthi abantu laba provide tempilo njalo tinyanga nabo bagcina sebagula ngalokho baswelelo lwati ukuthi bangavikela njani lesifo basalapha letigulayo. Kuliqiniso ke lokuthi vele abantu abanengi bayaqala khona etinyangeni bawufuna isito tinyanga tidudane nabo bahlala nato futhi bayadethemba. Kodwa ke sina sisasibambisane bativikele bona abenze bavikele letigulane ukuthi tingayitholi TB.
Mengameli wenhlangano balaphi bemdzabo Makhanya yena wethembisile ukuthi batawulibambisa live kuncobeni lesifo.
Namhlanje usikhumbule umuntu ukuthi ke bangafi bantu 2030 kufuna TB iphele. Njengoba bathi thina batayibona TB ngende kuphela lapho 2028.
Ngikusho kwembiko waloluhlangothi lesifo sihamba nemiphefumulo emaswati njalo ngeminyaka lelinganiselwa eshumini nesiphohlongo ekhulwini 18% kulabo labatfolakala nesifo labati 2,000 njalo ngeminyaka. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe khoza ngasikhumbuzo Dlamini kumathapha.
Inhlangano lebuke emalungelo ebantfwana i-UNICEF ithi bantfwana ikakhulukati labangemantombazana kumele bavikeleke ngayo yonke indlela kunoma ngabe nguluphi luhlobo lokuhlukubeteka ngoba sibonakala sikhule njalo sibalo semantombazana lahlukubeteka ngekwelicansi. Inhlangano ka-UNICEF nelihhovisi leliphini landvunankulu naletinye tinhlangothi bakhulumise kabanti indzaba yekuvikela abantfwana ekuhlukubetekeni lekuyi-sexual protection of children. Lomhlangano ubanjwe ngalesibili esibayeni lodge mathapha.
It's very important for us to see how we can better protect the most vulnerable population group, particularly like children. And in line with the mandate of UNICEF that we also want to support the country to develop to be a more resilient, more child-sensitive like social protection system in Eswatini. The first objective is that we want to take this chance to more equip with our relevant stakeholders working in social protections for the knowledges and skills related in these areas.
Lisekela lemcondzisi wabo sonhlalakahle ofisini leliphini landvunankulu Marcelia Neves lithi emantombazana ayadzinga kuvikelwa ngoba ayahlukubeteka ngakho-ke lo mhlangano ubaluleke kakhulu kuboke balo ofisi.
Sitoshiyelana lugwayi ukubukisana nekusherisha i-information ngokuthi lama gaps lesiwabonako nasisasebenza sichuba umsebenzi wekusita abamfana naso sive kuleli hlangothi le-social protection sihlangabetana kanjani ngoba siyatuka ukuthi uhulumende kunelichaza lalidlalako.
Ngengxenye yesibili yeminyaka lophelile tinyukile impela tinombolo talabahlukubeteko ikakhulukati amantombazana kwanyuka nesibalo sekulahlwa kwabantwana nekuyekela-ke emsebentini ama-layoffs ngenxa ye-COVID-19 kuvule lithuba lokuthi bahlukubeteke basifazane. Etindzabeni ngengiyani Msibeki naSmuva Shongwe esibayeni lodge kumathapha.
Kuthuthukisa indlela yokubutha imininingwane emahekeni elive. Luhlangothi lwaka-environmental health selutawucala ukubutha le mininingwane yetempilo yesive lesingena lapha eveni kusebenziswa indlela tebuchwephesha. Lokhu-ke kuvetwe lisekela lemphathi walolu hlangothi Mandla Bhembe.
Kuchubeka nekuthuthukisa tempilo nekulandzelela tifo letingahle tingene eveni, luhlangothi lwetempilo lwaka-environmental health selutawucala kusebenzisa tindlela tebuchwephesha kukweleka imininingwane yetempilo yebantfu labangena nalabaphuma eveni phecelezi point of entry. Leli tiko liceceshe tisebenti taloluhlangothi letisebenta emahekeni lasiphohlongo elive ngalendlela lensha yokukweleka imininingwane yetempilo. Lisekela lemphathi waloluhlangothi Mandla Bhembe uthi lena indlela ekuqinisekisa kuphepha eveni.
Sigunyatwa ngumthetho waka-international health regulations lothi asibuke kuvikeleka kwetifo letihamba mhlaba wonke njengabo Ebola, njengabo monkeypox, njengabo COVID nje lesibabona kulamalanga. Silapho ke sibuka konke nje nekudla lokungena kweveni lokuthi kuphephile yini. Bamba nje kusho ukuthi siya screen lokuthi na ungena egedeni siyabuka ukuthi timpawu ngabe unatiphi bese siyabuka ukuthi ngabe leso sifo leso asiso lesitawuba ingoti eveni noma emhlabeni.
Phumelele Ngozo longu-environmental health officer yena uthi nyalo sekutawuba melula kulandzelela tifo letingahle tibhedvuke eveni.
Kutasisita kakhulu because with papers ayalahleka sometimes or information can get lost ingakhoni nekufika to the relevant authorities labalabadzinga le information lesiyikwelekako. Nyalo seyitawukhona ukuthi ihlale ibe khona isheshe ifike futhi nale kulaba labayidingile labenda tinqumo telive ikakhulu nje COVID usifundzisile kakhulu lokuthi siyadinga ukuthi siphangise kakhulu ukuthi nasikhona lesikusolako ehekeni ukuthi umfu uyangena uyagula sesiyakhona ukuthi sisheshe sithole ukuthi uhambe phi wafika kuze ukuthi abantu bavikeleke etifeni nabasaphuma bangena emahekeni. Letisebenti tempilo tiphinze tafundziswa nangendlela yokulandzelela nekubika imininingwane yetempilo yalabo labangena nalabaphuma eveni. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza ngasikhumbuzo Dlamini kuMathapha.
Takhamuti tasemathendele enhlangano ticela masipala welidolobha lasenhlangano ukuthi abiyele kahle indzawo lalahla kuyo Tibi ngoba lakalahla khona Tibi ayikabiyelwa. Isebaleni lokungabanga tingoti ikakhulukati kubantfana labangadlalanga lokulahliwe. Letakhamuti titsi lendzawo idvute nemakhaya lokwenta liphunga libahlukubete.
Takhamuti tasemathendele extension 6 enhlangano ticela masipala welidolobha lasenhlangano ukuthi abiyele indzawo lapho alahla khona Tibi ngoba isebaleni ayikafeniselwa futhi ke idvute nemakhaya.
Tibungoti kakhulu le Tibi kulesive sakalala ngoba tiyanuka nekunuka. Akalahli into lesiphila ukuthi ulahla lokungakhona ukuthi into ungatibona ukuthi ungathola titendeke kahle but ulahla nento konke nemabhodlela nani konke nje uyakulahla.
Abalahla nedifana batha imijovo phinde etinye neblessing nabantu abadzala yabo empilweni tabo abantwana bathe batsatsi bananga badlale ngabo yabo kanje dinyo kunekusasa setabanika nebhinking yabona lifana lo abonjelana kuyanuka nawe uyeva mawundlula akahambeki.
Umphathi welidolobha lasenhlangano Babs Mavuso sikhuluma naye ngelicingo ukuthi akusiko lapho masipala alahla khona Tibi lena idudane nalapho alahla khona Tibi kodwa akusiko lapho takhamuti tikhala ngayo khona.
Nendzawo lekuthiwa i-landfill noma i-dump site lesayibiyela safaka ngisho security logadzako kwendela ukuthi konke lokulakhathi kuphephile kubabethe abantu esibavumelako nokuthiwa ama-scavengers angene atothatha into lakhathi ngoba siyaconza ukuthi kakusitoti into mhlawumbe letingalungela ukuthi tigcine tifike kubantu nasetifakwe lapha ngekhathi.
Mavuso ke asayibukisisile ke lendzawo betindzawo bakhuluma ngayo uthe nasihlulekile kungena la kulahla khona Tibi sikhulumba ngenxa yokushelela bayeke batilahlela phakanike batawudenda taba ukuthi batisuse le Tibi belibandla letemvelo bayeke bakugceke kulahla kweTibi lapho kunye kubeteka khona imvelo phinze kuhlukumete nempilo yesive. Etindzabeni ngengiyani Msibingi naSimuva Shongwe enhlangano.
Amaphoyisa asesiteki esifundeni saselibonjeni ahlangene nemaphoyisa eMango kutocela lubanjiswano kuwo emaphoyisa eMango mayelana netindzaba tebucala lobonakala banza kulendzawo. Lisekela lemphatsi wesiteshi semaphoyisa esiteki sibiziwe Bhembe utsi indzaba yekwebiwa kwemfuyo ihamba embili kulendzawo.
Kulandzela bucala lobonakala benyuka enkhundleni yasembolonjeni emaphoyisa sekahlangene nawo emaphoyisa eMango kuto wacela kutsi ababambise basenda umsebenzi wekunciphisa bucala kule nkhundla. Sibiziwe Bhembe lisekela lemphatsi wemaphoyisa esiteki uthi kubanjiswa ngemaphoyisa eMango ngiwo lokutawenta kunciphe bucala kule ndzawo.
Sibuke licala lelikhulu kakhulu lekwejiwa kwetifuyo nelicala lekugcekeza. Ngilona lelingathi lihamba embili kule ndzawo yasembolonjeni. Ebese-ke sesiphindze sibuke nendzaba yekuhlonipha wona umgwaco lesihamba kiwo sisive kule ndzawo yasembolonjeni. Lokubona lamacala shokuthi lokukhulu lokukhona sibafundzisa lokuthi lelicala ulibona ngani lokuthi selentekile nebumcoka-ke bekuthi bakhona ukuthi balibike lelicala naselentekile.
Nebenkampane yemanti Eswatini bekadze bakhona kutocela kona kubanjiswa ngiwo emaphoyisa eMango etindzabeni tekwebiwa kwemamitha kanye nemanti kule nkhundla. Umbiko uhlanganiswe ngithembelihle Magutshwa embolonjeni.
It's 25 minutes after 7 kulesikhathi sitawuthatha tindzaba temidlalo. Umphatsi wenhlangano yemidlalo yema-Olympics kanye naleyo yema-Commonwealth Maxwell Jele utsi le nhlangano sayisebentise imali lelinganiselwa ku-800,000 emalangeni yekumikiseni tingijimi takuleli eveni laseMalawi kutsi tingenele imidlalo yema-Region 5 yalonyaka letawubanjelwa khona edolobheni lelilongwe eMalawi. Jele utsi leli cembu kubhekeke kutsi lisuke kuleli kulemphela sonto.
Sicaleke sabuketa ema-athletes le abekhona kulomnyaka lophelile eMaseru la sithithe khona sitofuna ema-athletes la medala eMaseru noma la khona kufika ku-podium. Sasiyedlulela ke nalikhona lapho sibuketa tinombolo lokuthi mhlawumbe kukhona labanye labawatfolile ema-medals kuma-regional competitions labekhona. So leli bandla ke leli kubuketako lokho leli buketako nale team lahlangana nje mahlandla lamanyentana lisebenta yona lendzaba la khona egcineni kwagcina kufike la sesikhona khona nyalo i-team iyabusiswa ngeyo i-board yaka
Mengameli wenhlangano yemidlalo wegaluva lapha eveni Albert Mhlanga uthi le nhlangano ayikabi neminyaka lomuhle etindzabeni tekudlalisa imidlalo kanye nekungenela imichudzelwano leyahlukahlukene yangaphandle. Mhlanga uthi ke kulukhuni kusho ukuthi le nhlangano kukhona leyikuzuzile kulomnyaka njengoba bekude imichudzelwano lekhonile kuyidlalisa.
Vele ngaba kanjalo vele akahambi kahle ngoba nje asikakwati nokumela nje kungenela ama-tournaments e-Africa le futhi engasingene kuwo ngoba lama-competitions ema-opens especially ngona la ngona asinika kusi i-platform yokuthi sikwati ku-rate ama-players manje in the absence yalama-tournaments vele kubede ukuthi singabakhetha njani abadlali laba ngibona bakhalipha ngoba siwakhetha ngalama-open tournaments. So that's why nje lo mnyaka vela in terms of that akahambi kahle bekuthi nje ama-clubs nje for instance solo nje adranisela ama-competitions awo lengathi nje bokume kakhulu nje nangilama ama-tournaments labe asanctiona kakhulu i-union akahambi kahle lo mnyaka lokho sokuphela njena ngathi njena encenye vele kutabade ma-official tournaments e-union atawuqala kahle ngalijanuwari kodwa futhi nje le committee lekhethiwe nje satawuhlala phasi into i-program litaqala kahle ngajanuwari.
Lesikhasenyalo sitawubahlola etimakethe uma sibuya etimakethe lungelele uhlala phansi namengameli we-Eswatini pageant lata sikhulumisa nge-pageant labayichuba kweyami Eswatini.
your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3# and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. Yes, we're watching Kusile Breakfast Show. Sikuvusele na ulo sanza kusivule nje manje sekusele malanga lamabili kuphela ukuthi kubanjwe pageant ya Miss Eswatini 2022 on the 26th of November this weekend. Sakhomsana naye director Musa Mantinto kuvaka abantu ukuthi ngabe malungiselelo ahamba kanjani. Dokumela ukuthi the Miss Eswatini pageant was held for the first time in 1975. It was run by Eswatini Beauty Pageant Association in Eswatini, and of course the winner of Miss Eswatini has competed at Miss World pageant ever since the inception of the pageant in 1975, with Vaina Mamba as the country's first international representative. And since 2010, Eswatini does not compete at the Miss World. The last candidate was Nombilo Mngina in 2009. I'm joined by the director, Musa Mandinto from Eswatini Pageants, just to get a clear picture on how the preparations are going for the pageant on Saturday. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So yes, finally, only 2 days to go for the Miss Eswatini 2022.
Yeah.
But firstly, I'd like us to talk about the theme, Beacon of Hope.
Yeah.
You know, what does that theme say to this year's pageant?
Okay, so the reason why we had that pageant was because as a country as a whole, we went through a lot. There was COVID affected people and the unrest affected people. So we needed something that was going to bring positivity into the country. So we decided that as a contestant, you must actually plan to become a beacon of hope to bring positivity to Eswatini as a whole. So that's why we had the theme Beacon of Hope.
All right. So I noticed that there were a lot of changes, you know, this time. Contestants were requested to send their videos, you know, just give us a background of themselves, you know. Why those changes?
The reason we also had those changes was because we wanted to also remove the misconception of a model. People think a model must always have a fancy life, you must be drinking expensive things, but we want you in the simple you know. And people think for you to become Miss Eswatini, you must have money, but that's not the idea. We want you to come as who you are, to represent your values and show us that what you believe in, you can stand for Eswatini. That's what we needed. So we didn't care where you come from. You could have shot that video in a shack, it was fine, but as long as you are willing to stand for your country, that's what matters to us.
Yes, I want to ask Musa, you know, what was the public's, you know, general view on this? You know, I saw a lot of people's opinions on social media on the standards of the videos. You know, what was some of the feedback that you received from the public?
To be honest, we received a lot of negative feedback. Everybody was thinking, oh, the Miss Eswatini is a joke, you know. Everybody was very negative, but we knew what we were looking for. So the reason why we received those was people thought we should actually go and take videos from people's home with the same background so that it looks nice, but authenticity was what we were looking for. And we didn't want to actually ruin. Imagine we call everyone who wanted to join and have videos done, you know. So that was going to be an expense that was supposed to be put into something else, you know. So that's why we, even though we had the negative feedback, we just continued, because any feedback is feedback. It helps us build the country also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were this year's, requirements? I know that South Africa is particular with body height and age as well, and of course they have to have matric. So what were Ms. Eswatini's contestants' requirements this year?
Okay, so the requirements this year was that you should have completed high school. You should be between the ages of 18 and 26. And the most important requirement was that you are willing to stand and be a worker for your country, if I would say that. Because what we're looking for someone who is able to, in a way, become the slave for the people, you know, because that's what Mrs. Eswatini is all about. So that was one of the things. And we were looking for a person who has the knowledge of the social issues that are currently happening in Eswatini. So that were our requirements. Yeah.
All right. I think I mentioned earlier, Musa, that the last time we entered as Eswatini for the Miss World was way back in 2010,
Yes.
2009, 2010. So do we see ourselves, being part of Miss World, Miss Universe? I understand that you received a invitation letter from Universe organizers. Tell us more about that.
All right. During the course of the Miss Eswatini competition, we received an invitation from Carlos to actually debut as Miss Eswatini to Miss Universe next year. And at this point, we are expected to make a presentation, a proposal that is going to show them that we are actually serious about entering Miss Universe. So we are actually in the preparations for it. It's just that there's a lot of financial constraints because it needs us to have running capital, and at this point, as Mrs. Eswatini, we're not receiving as much support as we are supposed to be getting, but we are trying our best to make sure that we have running capital. We are running projects to raise funds to see if we can actually make the dream worth it, because I believe if we have a Miss Eswatini going to Miss Universe and going to Miss World, it will actually mean a lot to other girl childs that are waiting, I think that's what we are actually working on right now.
All right. Speaking of raising funds, Musa, how many sponsors do you actually have for the pageant? There's been an outcry from the general public that, the standard of the competition is very low. As you said, as you've just said, Google Funema funds and all. But are you working on that, to try and get more sponsors for the contestants?
Yeah. So we have been working on it since before we actually launched Miss Eswatini for this year. Unfortunately, most sponsors, we have been graced enough to have sponsors that sponsor gifts for the top 3. So the problem is that we don't have any sponsors that sponsor the administration. For us to get to this studio was petrol. It came out from some pocket, for us to actually have ads coming on social media, that was money. For us to do photography, that is money. But we don't actually get support in terms of the running costs. We don't have a title sponsor. We've been looking around for someone to actually sponsor us with funds that are going to man Mrs. Eswatini, from the running, from the recruitment, to actually the prejudging, to actually the top 40, top 25 to top 10, and then everything. We need a sponsor to help us with the administration, but we don't get that. So we had to find creative ways to actually make money out of it. We actually had to do votings. That's how we raised funds. Because also the girls sometimes can actually stay with us on a Saturday the whole day. We need to have them fed. So there are a lot of things that we needed funds for, and we had sponsors that sponsored our top 3 and our top 10, and they were wonderful, and we appreciate them, but we haven't received a sponsor that was willing to be like, hi, Musa, do you guys need funds for the running of Miss Eswatini? So most of the running has been on us and the support obviously from the Arts and Culture Office. I think that's what we have received at this point.
Okay, so Musa, take us through from the commencement of the competition, from the top 35 down to the top 10, you know, take us through the whole process, you know, the anxiety from the girls, Guguti Banjanjanyal, you know, how's the pressure, but are they ready for Saturday?
Yeah, I hope they're ready. It has been a very difficult journey, if I were to say. This year was very difficult because we met a lot of educated ladies. A lot of ladies were mostly educated. So they had the brains. It was not more like the beauty, they had the brains. So we actually had conversations with them, and it was even difficult to judge and to pick our top 25 from the 35. But because it's a competition, we have to do what we have to do. We have to pick the top of the top, you know. And then from 25 until from top 10, choosing top 10 from 25 actually, we had a difficulty also because the girls were amazing. We had amazing girls. Like, I can assure you now, our top 25 proved to us that Eswatini has only girls that actually think. Girls with the brains, girls that believe in Eswatini on its own. Because when we asked them about the mission statement, everybody had a mission statement that had value for Eswatini. So, yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
All right. So is everything set for the Saturday?
Everything is set. Everything is coming along. We have a few decor things that we need to just close up. But we are ready. We are preparing for the event, and this year we're going to have an after party because we want people to come and enjoy, and it's also another way for us to actually raise funds for next year, you know. So we are doing our best, you know, and we hopefully that we're going to get even more sponsors for the coming years. And hopefully we can actually put back Miss Eswatini in the international competitions, which is Miss World, Miss Supernatural, and we can put them in Miss Universe, because I think all the top 10 girls deserve to be presented in an international pageant.
So who are some of the sponsors that will be sponsoring the winner?
Okay, so our sponsors are Limco Queen. Limco Queen is actually going to sponsor us with a scholarship for the Queen. We have Viewers Driving School. We have Cara, who's from the White Orchid Spa. The White Orchid Spa is giving us vouchers for the treatment. We have Lamel. Eswatini, Lamel Eswatini is also going to sponsor us with products, and all of these are going to be worth 68,000 also. We have KFC, who's also sponsoring us with 10,000 cash prizes for the top 3. So it's got the 10,000 will be divided amongst the top 3. We have Edgar's that gave gift bags for the top 3 and also for a surprise person. We have also the White Orchid Spa gave surprise vouchers for the audience that is going to attend. Awesome. And we have KFC that gave out 55 KFC vouchers for people that actually voted, you know, so we're going to be handing out those. We have KFC, sorry, I'm forgetting. Pick and Pay. Yes, we have Pick and Pay that is actually going to sponsor us with vouchers worth 15,000. And yeah, I think on top of my head, those are the ones that I can remember. And we have Lulu Nails, we have makeup sponsor. So a lot of people pitched in, you know, to make this happen. Yeah.
All right. So if I may ask, Musa, are all the regions represented, you know, from which regions are they from, you know, all these girls, the top 10?
Okay, so the idea was to top 40, we needed to have all regions represented because we select from all regions. But then when we have a national judging from top 40, then we're not looking for a regional representation. We're looking for someone who's going to represent the country from the girls, the top 10 girls. So when we selected top 40, we actually selected from all the regions. Unfortunately, the region that was not represented the most was Shiselweni. There were a few girls, I think there were 3 girls that were representing Shiselweni, but most of the girls represented the Hoho region and Manzini region. And we had a few girls that represented Lubombo region. So yeah, so Shiselweni had a few girls, I think it was like 1 or 2, yeah, from top 40.
All right, so Saturday, as you just said, Guti, everything's ready almost. So, and I've seen on social media, Guti, the hype, inviting people to be part of the event. So, who are some of the artists that will be performing? I assume, Guti, you will have local artists as well that will perform on the day.
Definitely, we only have local artists. Because as Mrs. Eswatini, we believe that we are also a platform for fashion designers. We're also a platform for local musicians, upcoming artists. So we have Silent Writer, the poet, who's going to perform, and we have Bongani, the poet, also he's going to perform. And then we have Ugezi Oshisago, who's a local artist who reached out to us. We've actually used him for our pre-reveals before. He has a new song that came out and we called him, we're like, okay, he can actually come and do a reveal of his song. And then we have one spot for an artist. So if there's an artist out there that is looking for to have his song out there, they can actually call us, you know. So we are still working on it. We're finalizing it also.
All right. Lastly, Musa, where is the event and what time does it start?
All right, the event is going to be at the Shama House, which is at Eswatini. It's going to start at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is the red carpet, and we are going to actually have at 6 p.m. we are officially starting.
Okay, are you going to be live on social media? No.
We want to. Unfortunately, our fans are not allowing us to. We wanted to have a stream, but our fans are really not allowing us to have a stream.
All right. No, thank you so much, Musa, for joining us today. Mbugeli Sotivele, Miss Eswatini 2022, only 2 days to go. Tababanjelela Paizuluni at Shama House. Kuzolake Nsimbi Esihlanu and Hamba. Let's take a break. Start with Kubega.
Africa's biggest supermarket brings you the hottest deals of the year. It's Black Friday at ShopRite for 4 days only. Save up to 50% on Jacob's Crinan Instant Coffee for only 85 emalangeni. Sunlight Laundry Bar for just 15 emalangeni. Whitbix Cereal for only 45 emalangeni. And Rhodes Fruit Juice for just 15 emalangeni. Don't miss 4 days of Black Friday only at ShopRite.
Hey yo, this is DJ Cybers.
What's up guys, King J's here.
My name is Kripo Intellectual.
What's up everybody, my name is SK.
Hey guys, this is your girl Z.
This weekend Eswatini has been such an amazing show. For all the years, they've always supported all the local talent and all the local shows.
Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Fridays.
It's one of the best entertainment shows Eswatini. So guys, you know what? This is the best show to have. Like, if you watch Swazi TV and you're a person who actually enjoys watching like musical shows that have a lot of content, that have good stuff, This Weekend Eswatini is your show.
For all the good vibes, all the good energy, make sure you tune in to This Weekend Eswatini every Friday from 5:30 to 6:30. I'll say it again, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
A 1-hour fun-filled train of entertainment. We are taking you from 5:30 all the way to 6:30 every Friday, live on Eswatini TV.
And yes, of course, we are your #1 entertainment show in the kingdom of Eswatini. But you can interact with us on our social media platforms. We are at This Weekend Eswatini on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Lalela Tina, we will definitely get back to you. This is your official weekend party starter.
I don't wanna go around singing songs that people don't want.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. all the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. Sibonge ukuchubeka nihlale nathi kulesikhathanya lo stawu uchubeka nje netindzaba tetfu letichamuka kulamanye emave. Kuthiwa ke the Afghan actor Ali Danish Bakhtiari, who played the role of an orphan in the 2007 film The Kite Runner, has fled the Taliban rule in his home country twice. First in the late 1990s and then in 2021 when the United States withdrew its forces from Afghanistan.
What happened to the boy? The Taliban took him.
At 10 years old, Ali Danish Bakhtiari played the role of Sohrab in the 2007 film The Kite Runner. In the film, Sohrab, an orphan, endures horrific abuses, his parents murdered by the Taliban. For Afghan-born actors like Bakhtiari, the Taliban are far from fiction. His real family fled the Taliban rule in Afghanistan when he was a child in the late 1990s.
I was one of the 9 children of my parents.
After the Taliban were ousted by a NATO-led coalition in 2001, Ali's family returned home, a move that led to his role in The Kite Runner, which provided an unflinching portrayal of Taliban rule. But in August 2021, American troops withdrew from Afghanistan, and Bakhtiari had to run for his life again.
We were hearing on the news that each province were being seized by Taliban day after day. We never thought that Kabul would fall that quick.
Fearing retaliation from the Taliban because of his work on The Kite Runner, Bakhtiari decided to use his U.S. connections and reached out to a Paramount Pictures producer, pleading for help.
I personally was thinking that Taliban would come and would just, arrest me and just persecute me or even kill me.
Bakhtiari says Paramount arranged transportation and helped his family get to Hamid Karzai Airport amid the chaos, including a fellow Kite Runner actor through a secret entrance and onto a plane.
Living under the fear is one side of the equation, and the other side is not having any hope.
And for many Afghans, that hope is dwindling. In 2021, more than 1.25 million Afghan refugees fled the country, according to the UN.
I think things will get worse before they get better.
Experts say without attention from the West, the sense of quiet desperation has escalated for those who remain in Afghanistan and those who sought refuge in neighboring countries.
The attention that Afghanistan once commanded is completely gone. Nobody really sees it on their radar screen. You don't hear it being mentioned in the G20. You don't see it mentioned in re-election campaigns.
But Bakhtiari, now 26, still has hope for the future of his homeland.
Afghanistan's government will become prosperous again. It will become, democracy will dominate the country once again, and it's not going to be that long.
In the meantime, Bakhtiari, a recipient of a scholarship for displaced students at Columbia University in New York, pursues a master's degree in civil engineering, hoping someday to help the people of Afghanistan.
Asiyasala saqhubeka nekubuka le nto letibuya ngaphandle kwakuleli sibuka yona iFIFA World Cup yeminyaka 2022 buka ukuthi families mourn thousands from decade of construction as the 2022 FIFA World Cup games play out in Qatar. VOA reports on the families of some of the thousands of migrant workers who died building cup-related facilities over the past decade.
Not long after Qatar was awarded the 2022 World Cup back in 2010, rights groups and the media began reporting abuses against the rapidly growing population of migrant workers, mostly from South Asia and Africa. In the Dhanusha district of Nepal, young men flocked to Qatar, many borrowing large sums to get there for the chance to make some money and build a future. Families left behind say there were no other good options. Before her husband, Muneshwar, went to Qatar, Aslani Devi Yadav says he was paid only 4 kilograms of rice a day for his work in Nepal. He died in Qatar in 2018.
We had small children at that time, so he decided to go for foreign employment to earn money for the food and their schooling.
Muneshwar worked in construction, often carrying heavy loads to the top of skyscrapers under construction. Despite this danger, he died at night, and his family was told it was of heart failure.
His body was brought 15 days after the death. After that, we performed his last rites and rituals at our home.
Amnesty International says most of the death certificates issued to the families of the deceased migrant workers list some kind of heart failure or natural causes of death. Doctors say healthy young men do not die naturally. But this ruling means employers are not legally or financially responsible for the death. And Yadav, like other families left behind, now struggles to survive.
There is no source of income after my husband's death. I sold my land. I am running my home from the money from the land sale.
When that money is gone, Yadav says her children will have to work because she doesn't make enough money selling milk from her one buffalo to support the family. A 2021 Guardian newspaper investigation revealed that more than 6,500 migrant workers have died in Qatar since the World Cup was awarded. Qatari World Cup officials declined to be interviewed for this report.
All right, so it's 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. Sibamba lapho tangaphandle kwakuleli kukhumbuta nje ukuthi FIFA World Cup soliyaqhubeka namuhla kanti ama games aqala ngaba 12 namuhla ngaba 12 nje kutabe kudlala iSwitzerland versus Cameroon bese kuthi ngabo 3 namuhla kuphindze kudlale iUruguay kanye neSouth Korea.
I think all eyes are on the biggest game of the day, which is Portugal versus Ghana. And fortunately, Eswatini TV will be broadcasting that game live at 6 p.m. Everybody's talking about Cristiano Ronaldo engabe utawuperforma kanjani, especially after interview yakhe na Piers Morgan lese imbone ashiya licembu lakhe lase England Manchester United. Siyayibona ke winning probability vele ifavorisha yona iPortugal. My experts see they are on 68% winning probability. Ghana is sitting only at 12. And as a fellow African, in favor of Ghana, I have nothing against Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, in favor of Ghana, and also another game that Eswatini TV will be broadcasting is at 9 p.m., which is Brazil versus Serbia. So, see, matches a World Cup. It's 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. Yes, so thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.